Hello guys, today we will talk about how to create external load balancer in shared VPC. So first of all, if you don't know about shared VPC, you can check out my previous videos in which I have created a brief introduction and how to create shared VPC and all that. And if you know about that, then we can proceed with it. Intro about shared VPC first. So shared VPC in which we have a host project and service projects. So we will create the VPC network in our host project, and all the service project will utilize this your network VPC network. So it is like kind of centralized network management. So your service project doesn't have to create their VPC networks alone. Just one centralized project can create a VPC network and they can handle that. Basically, if like network team can just take care of the host project in which they know all the network configuration, and service projects just utilize that network. So we will see the same thing here, how we can use create a load balancer, external load balancer in shared VPC. So we have two options as of now. First one option is that we can create a load balancer in one of the service project. So in this, you can see like I have a host project in which my all the network configuration has been done, like all the subnet, firewall rules. I will create in host project. In the service project, I will create my load balancer in which all that forwarding rules, all the things which is required in a simple load balancer, I will create that. If you don't know how to create load balancer, I have three parts of creating load balancer in which I have covered extremely well. You can check that videos. So we will check first this option, how to load balancer in one service project. It is very simple scenario. After that, there is some little complex scenario. As of now, this is cross project backend service. This is in preview state. So don't try within your production and environment until it comes under general availability. So what will happen in global external load balancer if we want to try cross project backend service? So we can create URL map in one of the host project or service project, and we can create the backend services in another project. Like so, if we see this example, this is our host project in which we have created our VPC network. Then this is our service project A. In this we have created our URL map in which we done all the configuration like forwarding rule, HTTP proxy, and URL map like how traffic will go to the backend. And this is my service project B in which I have created my backend. So you can take a scenario like your service project A in which you have only your we can say front end in which you have all the things like forwarding rule and all that, and you have multiple service projects which are configured as your backends. So you just use that service project as your backends. So now you don't have to create a separate load balancer. Just reference that service projects in your configuration while creating this. So suppose your team, your application team can create their own backends in their own projects, and the central network team just create a single load balancer and just reference that in that application team projects. So we will see this scenario also. So this is called as cross project service referencing. So like in this we can create forwarding rule, target proxy, URL mapping, host project, and backend service in a service project. Or we can create all these things, forwarding rule, target proxy in one service project and backend service in another service project. So it depends upon you how you want to create. Like if you want to create in a service project, you can connect multiple projects with that that service project. So it totally depends upon you. For this, to do this, we need a special role to configure this. The role is roles compute load balancer service user. So you have to assign this permission to the user who is going to create load balance, who is going to create that front end. So suppose in this, if we see take example in this service project A, and we want to utilize service project B backends, so we have to basically apply that role in this project, or even we can apply this role to this backend also. So he can use only this specific backend, or we can give project in at the project end, so we can use all the backends. So totally depends upon you how you want to do the configuration. So this is the main thing here, this role, which is very important, and we will see how to configure this and all that. So let's start our demo first. So I have created two service project. This is my main project, which is a host project also, my first project. So I am using this I created this network, LB network. In this has a single subnet, and I have a configured IP range for that. You can see that I am using this IP range, and this is only a single subnet in that VPC network. That is enough for us, and we have shared, I've configured the shared VPC also. So like if you don't know, please see my previous videos in which I have attached two service projects. You can see my two projects has been attached here, and I have shared all the subnets with it. Like both networks default, and this network is already shared. So if I go to my service project, you will see there is no network in this current project. If we refresh page, we can see no network because I have deleted all the networks from this specific project which is created by default. Only subnets I have in this project. It's see, I don't have subnet also, but I have subnet shared to my project. So from where it is coming, they are coming from this shared VPC only. So this, if you see LB backend subnet, it will come here also. If we see like at last maybe, you can see this is the same network. It is coming from my LB network, and LB network. This is my LB network which I have created here. So like this, we can configure our shared VPC. Same thing will come in this project also, service project 2 also. And I don't have any specific network in service project 2 also. So let's start our first demo in which I will create all the things in service project 1 only, that like our backends and our forwarding rule, all the things will be in first project only. Project 1, I already have created a backends like instance group I have already created. If you don't know how to do that, you can check out my previous videos once again. So you can see the internal IP is coming 192.168.1.3, which is coming from this network range only because this network has this IP range, LB network. You can see even if I go to inside my VM also, we can cross check like from which network it is using, that IP range is coming from. I am inside in my VM, so we can see that in the network interface, it is using LB network, which is from my this project, which is my first project, and this is the IP range, and this is my external IP and all that. Also, I have created an instance template for that. You can in which I have configured all the things like what I have to use, and after that I have an instance group which I have already created. So this is like basic configuration which I have pre-work which I have already done. So you can do this by on also. It is very kind of simple thing. So let's start with the main part. Let's create the load balancer. Inside our load balancer page, let's try to create a load balancer. It is a simple thing. Like if you don't know how to create this, I have covered already these all things in previous videos. But this in this video, basically, I am focusing on the shared VPC and all that. That's why I'm not covering in why again and again. So we can cover in short time. So let's give a name, like we can say shared load balancer LB. And after that, in the front end configuration, we will select HTTPS. Also after that, if you are using HTTPS, you must make sure that you must have a certificate with you. I already have a certificate, and in the IP address you can reserve IP address also. So I've already reserved the IP address. You can if you can even click here also, create IP address, give it a name, and it will reserve for you. So I have already reserved the IP address, and I have already have a certificate. So I have a service project certificate which I have already created. So this is, you can create your own certificate if you have a self-signed certificate, or you can ask Google to create for you. So like if I click here, create a new certificate, it will open a certificate manager page in which I can create a Google managed certificate. But if you create a Google managed certificate, you have to just verify your domain first with Google. So this is all done. Now with main thing is backend part. So I've tried with some cloud run service, but we will create a new service again. So let it gives a name like my IG, which is instance group. There are multiple things I have all covered. I covered all of these. After that, I have to choose my instance group, which is LB backend. It is all that. We don't need CDN. Just click on create. Okay. We have to choose a health check also. You can create it by clicking here, create a health check, just to fill out the form like name, in which port you want to send the traffic and all that, and just done that, create, okay. In routing rules, it will automatically configure a routing rule for you. That is not, and if you want to do advanced host and path rule, you can check out my last part of this video. Okay, review and finalize, and just click on create. And also one thing need to sure, like you must have a firewall rule enabled for your health checks. So load balancer will send some health checks from some different IPs. So you have to create that specific rule in your firewall rules. So here it is my like firewall rule which I'm using. So these both IPs from these both IP load balancer will forward traffic to check whether your health check are working or not. So if you doesn't have this firewall rule, your backends will never come up because load balancer will not able to check the health check. So you make sure you will create this both, and you can use TCP 80, and you can use whether you can use network tag, or you can just allow all the instances. It is up to you how you want to configure this. So you need to make sure that it is are there. So like now it is showing no instances, but if I click on show instances from service project, I have to select the service project one and confirm, it will show that also. See, this specific rule has been like enforced on these two VMs, which is part of my service project one. So a load balancer has been created. So if I go inside my load balancer, and this is our IP. So I already configured this IP in my registrar and domain name. So just I will put that. So this is my domain name, which I'm like subdomain name of my domain name. So let we can check if we try to refresh multiple times, we can see it will giving response from different LB backend. So like if I try to refresh, which is 2STS and FC something like that, and this 2STS and FC06 both are part of my this instance group. So that we have confirmed that it is like working fine in our service project one, where network is in our host project, and we have created the load balancer in our service project. Means it is a very simple scenario shared VPC. Now the main scenario will check creating cross reference one. So we will create our front end in different project, and back end we will use from different projects. So I will use the same backend only from service project one, but I will create the front end, or we can say URL map, in service project 2. So let's see how we can create that. I think we have to remember that we cannot create this via console. If you go try to create via console, you will not get any option actually. So if you go to backend also, there is no option to connect backend from a different project, because it shows the backend from this project only. So this can be done only via Cloud Shell. So this you have to remember. So let's start the Cloud Shell and see how we can do that. There are some commands which we have to run. Before that, also we need to provide that specific role to ourselves so that we can create that. So if we go back to our load balancing and go to our backends, you can see I have multiple backends here. So if I go to my IG and click on permissions, you can see it will create something different page. So we have to just uncheck this option, and it will show backends with individual permissions. As of now, it is shared with and not a single user. So we have to share this first. So we will select my IG one and open show permission panel, and we will add a principal. So in principal, I have to add my name. So I have added the principal, which is myself only, admin one. And after that, we have to select a role. So see, it is already showing this one role: compute, load balancer, services, user role. So we can assign this role. You have two options: whether you can assign over the project only. So you can assign this over the. If you go to in your project, I am just assign this to the user, so he will have permission to all the backends. Or if you want like specific to backends only, you want to share, just use this role on this specific backends, like which I have showed you. So compute, load balancer, service, user role, and we will save this. So once we save this, after that, this is done from our end. Now we have to create all the things in this project only in via Cloud Shell. So let's see how we can do that. So we have to run some commands. I will just copy and paste. Command is this: gcloud beta compute URL maps create. We are creating a URL map. You have to just remember this is not in general availability. So if you try to create with gcloud compute URL maps, it will not work. You have to use beta because it is in preview as of now. So gcloud beta compute URL maps. We are creating a URL map for our service, for our like load balancer. This is the name of that URL map. This is the default service which I want to use. So if you see the default service, I am just asking to use service project one service, which is LB backend service. Let's see what's its name once again. So the service name is my IG. So let's modify that. So it is name is my IG. After that, we are saying it is a global load balancer in this, and we are giving the project, and the project name is service project 2. So you have to just run this command once, and maybe it will ask to authorize us. It has created our cross-reference URL map. If we make it down little and just refresh our page, maybe it will show us it has created. And if we go inside that, we can see we have a LB backend which is already attached to it, and it is coming from service project 1. You can see this is just referencing from service project 1, and all the details we can see as of now. So we have just created a URL map reference. Now we have to create the target proxy, so like it can forward traffic to our backends, and after that we have to create a front end. So I will paste another commands also for creating target proxy. Again, we are using gcloud beta only, and this is I am creating target proxies. Is the name of the target proxy is cross reference URL map, which I have already created. This is the URL map, cross reference URL map. SSL certificate we have to use because we want to use HTTPS. So this is my SSL certificate which I have already created. Project, this is global load balancer, and the project is service project 2. Let's click enter and wait. Okay, it has been created now. Now let's check that also once again. If we go back, and we cannot see that target proxy directly from here, we have to click in load balancing components view. So if we click on that, then only these things will we can check that our target proxy has been created. We can even click on certificates, which I have just showing this our command. This is cross reference certificate. This is the name of the certificate, and this is my domain name which is connected with this certificate. I have, and this is in active state. It means it I have verified that this domain name I like I owned. So you can see that even it expires, like it will give date also and all that. After that, we have to create the forwarding rule. Let me paste that command. So command, when we are using beta, and this we asking forwarding rules create. This is my name of the forwarding rule. This is the load balancing scheme is the external manage. So this is external manage means it is a global load balancer we are trying to use. This is address. This is my IP address. I already told you that we need a reserve IP address. So this is my IP address which I have already reserved in this project. Scheme is global, like we can and after that target proxy, which has we have created this like cross reference target proxy. After that, on which port we want to use on 443, and this is my project name. Please just click enter and wait. You can see like it is working now. So it is just replying to our request. So we have confirmed that it is working fine. So even we can add more and more backend from multiple projects. So like I have a backend in my main project also, and if we want to try to add, we can add that also. Like I have a cloud run service which is running. Let's check, try that also. You can see in my first project I have a cloud run backend which I have created. So let's try to add this first. If we for that we need to go via our CLI only. So one thing you can do, once you have created this, you can like export your all that URL map configuration in your local and just do changes in that only instead of creating a new configuration. So I will show you how we can do that. Command, if you want to like take out all the configuration, gcloud beta compute URL maps export. This is my URL map name, like load balancer name, which is cross reference URL map, and this is the destination where I want to. So this is my file in which all the configuration of the URL map will be exported. So let's just click on this, and it is like done. So cat myconfig.yaml. So you can see it has given all the configuration which I have already done, like default service, what is the kind, URL map name, self link, all that. So this is a very basic configuration. Now let's add our second backend. So for that we'll open the editor. So it will be very easy to see all that. I have modified this configuration a little bit. So I have created a host rules here. For the host, star means any traffic which is coming to my load balancer, and the path matcher in which I have defined a default service. So this is my default service in which all the traffic must go, and after that I have created a one more path rule also. In path I am saying if any traffic coming on slash hello, so if any traffic is coming like on this slash hello like this, so it must go to on my this service, and this service is coming from which my first project, which it is using a cloud run. So it is coming from here. So see, you can see this is my project ID. So it will forward traffic to this service. So this I have done. So let's push this configuration. For before pushing, we can even validate whether it is fine or not. So do like, let's do command like g compare. So this is the command. So this is the command to check that gcloud beta compute URL maps, which is the which we have created. Validate, it will validate whether it is work fine or not. And we are in the source, we have to provide the file name, which is cross reference, which I have created one more file. In the load balancing scheme, we have just provided that the external manage and with the flag global. Let's click on the enter on this. So we can see it is succeeded, load succeeded true and test passed true. So let's try to push this. Once we have validated, we have to push with via this command gcloud beta compute URL maps import. We have to use the import like you remember for before we use export. Now we are doing import, which is our load balancer name or URL map name. Then the source, which we have to provide a file name. Here we have provided destination. It is the source. It is global. Let's enter this command. Let's see. It is asked whether you want to continue. You can just create yes. Has been updated. So let's see how it is looks here. So we can see that all that routing rules has been updated also. So slash hello will, if we try to run slash hello, it will go to cloud run. So I've tried that already, but if you want to try, we can try again. Like any, if you try slash hello, it will go to our cloud run, and it is also given the project ID also, in which project ID it is going, and there's all the reason, all that. And if we try something else which is not slash hello, maybe it will not work. So it is not found in our server, and anything on the root, it will go to our load balancer. So you may be thinking like how I have not given any permission to this specific cloud run or this service, how it is working. So actually I'm the owner of the project, so that's why I don't have to give permission specifically again and again. I've showed you how to do that in this service project one, but as I am on the owner of the project, so I didn't need to do that, because even I can show you why I don't have to. If I go to IAM and under roles, even we can check the documentation also. So here what it's saying is that that load balancer admin must have this permission, compute, backend service use, and for that they have a predefined role. So in predefined role there's multiple permissions. So like this, we can use this role also. But if we go to our roles and just type the permission and search, so you can see this permission comes under in many roles, predefined roles already created. So this is the owner role. So I already have this permission. That's why it is working for me. But if you don't have this owner permission, like you are doing just some testing, so you must make sure that you must have this permission, or you can just ask your admin or something to define that specific role, load balancer service user role also. Okay, we have done the so much of now. Even if you want, you can add multiple backends from other projects also. Even you can add a backend from this project also, like in service project 2. Like I have a backend this, so I can even add this also, and it will run fine for me. Like let's try to add this also. Let's open the editor. So what you have to done, just we will just copy and paste this only. We will we will create a new path with a different. Okay. So let's see now on hello 2, our response will come from this. Let's copy this project ID, this service project 2, and it is looks fine to me. Yeah. So what we are saying, if any traffic will come slash hello 2, it will forward the traffic on this service on project 2. This is our service project 2 only. So we have tried from first project, we have tried from service project 1. Now we are checking with in its own project also. So let's put these changes. Just validate first. Okay, it is working. Validator has been passed. Just push the changes. Okay, so let's go over load balancer once and recheck it. So see, we can see now hello 2 is already added. So let's try with hello 2 now. It will take some time. Let's wait little bit. So it is working now. We can see the hello 2, and it is giving response from service project 2. And this is our, and if we try with only hello, So it is giving from ivory, which is my first project. So we have tried all the things. We have tried a single project in which all the things in the single project. Now we have tried in cross-reference project. So it is in preview as of now. Maybe we don't know whether it will come in GA or not, but we can try and test. And if you have any issues, you face any issue, let try to ping me a comment. I will try to help you. And thank you.